how the hell are you?
Uh, I don't know. I think I'm trying to figure out if my adrenaline or cortisol came back down yet. Like, I think I'm okay. I think I'm good.
Oh yeah, Odie's jumping his acrobatic endeavors.
Yeah.
That was
So Clark, you had just missed it. I think you were in the process of turning your camera and mic on earlier, but I'm on the second story at my house and I have the windows open because it's a nice day. Also, it's kind of hot up here, so running the fan and all that. And Odie jumped off the roof on the second story up here, and just plops down.
mm-hmm.
He's good.
I knew that dog had a suicide wish.
Just
He doesn't want to be around anymore.
How old is the dog?
Oh, he's not that old.
I mean, we all feel that way if we spend enough time with you, Jimmy.
Oh, damn.
Damn.
Right in the click
Is
funnels.
this Ask Me Anything After Dark? Or I don't know what the hardcore version of Ask Me Anythings are.
Oh my gosh.
Roast me anyway.
I don't know. Let me GPT up some darker questions for Clark.
There you go.
All right, Kyle.
Well,
what's going on, man? What's happening?
So for our audience, we are doing a little bit of an impromptu AMA tonight because the entire state of Georgia decided to get sick all at the same time, and we want to be responsible.
Seriously, look it up. Department of Public Health. It's crazy.
Yeah, so here we are in our bedrooms, garages, wherever, offices. Yeah,
Home
hanging
offices.
out. Yep. Orifices.
Kyle, you sound sick. You
I
sound not too good.
I would love to not sound sick or not feel congestion in my chest anymore, but alas, there's a tenant right in here, and it won't go away. His lease is up, damn it. And I got
Your autofocus
You
is
don't drink,
spazzing
but
out. FYI.
hot toddies, man. They take
Yeah.
care of that congestion real nice.
yeah. Yeah,
I don't want you to worry about it too much, but your autofocus is like,
it's breathing. It's
Yeah.
like my breathing right now.
But
Like,
hey, for I just pulled it up. Like for an impromptu stream, are like really pretty good.
yeah,
It's got our like little background and everything. So this is pretty good.
yeah.
Good job, Kyle.
Thanks, man. I think
Threw it together in a pinch.
it's
now, could you also do? I'm just curious, and hopefully, if there's a format to this ANA, say Craig, shut up, and I'll shut up. But like, if we did something like D&D Beyond Maps
mhm.
and shared that as a screen, would we still see our four faces and have like our digital tokens and like totally could play?
We totally could. That is a format
dope.
that a lot of streamers take. They only do online play, so they don't do live play, which is one of the interesting things I wanted to talk about tonight is the challenges that we've faced like over the past like 6 months with doing a live play show, because it is very different than playing remote. Each one has its own challenges, but I think like building out our studio / game room and having schedules aligned to where everybody can be there in person, we definitely like cleared a bunch of hurdles and also like tripped up a bunch along the way too. So
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
Is anyone
seasonal
else
too,
twitching
right?
out about Kyle's camera constantly going in and out of focus?
I'm working on it, Clark.
Yeah.
Just give me a second. I'm trying to find my camera
It's an
settings.
interesting seasonal thing because it was like before Christmas, both our Thursday night game, which is a personal game I play, and our Tuesday night game, Overworked Nerds, was like a metronome. It was perfect for, God, at least 8 or 9 weeks. It felt like in there, maybe
Yeah.
10. Like it was just boom, 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 boom. Like it felt like I could set my watch on my personal schedule. Like everything was happening every single day the way I thought it should. And then the holidays hit and it went, everything went crazy, which everyone expects. I think we forget that January is that, post-holiday hangover / everybody's starting new things. Work is harder. Play is harder. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could have put it. Like, there's so much stuff. Like, so much stuff for like launching with work and stuff I'm launching with my business, and then there's a 5,000 person event we're putting on in Vegas literally next week, and so like there's so much stuff happening all the freaking time. But that's why we're named what we're named. Like that's the point. Is like despite all the shit, you still show up and game with your friends.
Exactly.
Because you got it.
Yeah.
You know, I have an old friend of mine, one of my oldest friends, that owns a business. Not like a cool, hot entrepreneurial business like you guys. He owns a very old traditional business that he bought for a great deal of money and is managing to make it more money. But owning your own business, especially once it gets to a certain size, can consume literally everything. Like if you want to, you could shovel in every single minute of your life and you would never miss it. Like it is a black hole of time. And this friend came to me middle of last year, and in all honesty, him and his wife were like, we see this black hole that is consuming all time, and we want to make sure that we have some fun in our lives, and we're going to make you in charge of that. So please make sure every couple of weeks we're doing something fun. Please invite us to things and schedule time with us, because we're afraid that this new, endeavor that they started is going to consume everything. And it was so funny that he had to be so intentional about that. And we hung out and played dominoes and drank the other day. And at the end of it, he was like, "Thanks for making this happen." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm the cruise director.
Yeah, you're the fun broker for more than just
different stage of my life, right? There are absolutely days where I'm out of control busy, but different stage, I look at you guys and I'm like, wow, different stage of my life completely,
Yeah. Dude.
So we have a fifth now.
What?
Player 5 has joined the game.
All I heard was heavy breathing from a dog.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
Finn.
Yeah.
If you know Finn, that's him.
You want like a dog cam. Like I want the camera on the dog. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Slap a GoPro on him.
yeah.
Cooper
Finn, I
Cam.
muted you, by the way.
I know.
Just if you ever want to unmute.
Unless the dog ate the microphone, which it kind of sounds.
Who muted who?
Hey, you're there.
Yeah, here I am.
Rock me like a hurricane.
Nice. Finn, are you doing well enough to join us on camera or audio?
The camera.
Okay.
No, you don't want to see what I look like right now. It's like, imagine how I sound, and then that's how dead I am inside and on the outside.
Nice.
I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah.
That's kind of normal. It's
Oh.
Yeah, I was about to say that sounds pretty normal to me.
Are there any new symptoms?
I've always been dead on the inside. That's my secret. Oh my god.
I mean,
Oh no. All these reactions.
Oh, the
who said trombone? All right.
No one should have ever introduced me to the sound panel. I'm gonna wait till someone's like griping about all their life struggles. Yep, and there are like 8 of those.
Dude, all right.
So good.
I feel like
I
still advocate for a soundboard during game.
Discord.
Does anybody have a question they want to start with, or does someone want to
I think I have something here.
All right.
This is for Mr. Kyle, and I know that like it's hard for you to talk. Was that a badger?
Badger, 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 badger.
Nice.
I want a badger.
I know it's kind of hard for you to talk, so I was maybe trying to get like the conversation going with you, just get your input out of the way, so you can just maybe be like facilitator.
Yep.
And chill out while the rest of us talk for a little later. But my first question to you, Kyle, is what has been in 2024? What has been like the largest hurdle or struggle that you think that like, you as a DM? Holy, bye, Finn. That you as a DM have faced at the table, or that like you tried to like overcome in real time at the table? Oh, there he is. Right on.
Nice.
Oh god.
Oh, geez. Can you guys? Is that coming through?
That's Finn's camera.
Oh.
It happened last time too.
Jeez.
Yeah.
The inner tube's not working?
No, it's his.
Okay. Okay, I thought through the question a little more. I feel like it's jumbled, but basically, like, what was the hardest thing for you as the DM in 2024?
I think the hardest thing was probably trying to weave pieces of everyone's backstory into parts of the narrative, and then get all of those things kind of working together cohesively, like leaving breadcrumbs that people would be interested in, both as a group and also like for their characters individually, and also things that would be interesting like to watch and view. So it's kind of the not manipulating the story, like still allowing like you guys' decisions to determine which way we go, where we go, but also like giving enough enough bait, I guess, in that it didn't leave it on you guys to just like figure out like why are we here, why are we interested in this. So that's pretty much, I think, my job as the DM, and then everything else is, once that's off to the races, everything else is kind of on y'all to decide how you want to go about either killing or making your characters heroes.
So a hard part was basically like, off of what you said, a hard part is like you've got 5 other people at the table here, and you want to like weave in backstories to make one cohesive story. Does there come a point where you stop doing all of this like backstory building, and then it's like the characters are solid?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when do you feel like a character is solid enough that we can just like adventure into one of your story, or like adventure into your story despite all the things that have happened in the background? Or does that never happen?
Well, I think that the characters never stop like having their backstory. Their backstory, I guess, in this context is like what you bring to the first session and say like, this is what this character has been through up to this point. But as far as like their overall narrative as a character, that never ends. Like, it continues to build throughout this campaign and like any future campaigns that character is a part of. I don't think that is my role as the DM to heavily influence that. I think it's my role to work with the player to figure out like what direction you want to go, and to sort of like help facilitate it. But I don't ever want to tell a player like, hey, your character needs to do this or needs to become this in order to fulfill like a certain need within a group. I think that is sort of the fun of like figuring out like when there's
That's interesting. I have a response to that, and that actually has to do with Mordor dying.
Yeah.
The time that he like went like dead.
Yeah.
And the story of like what happened behind the veil of like he's basically like, you led your life in such a way that you can't go to the like beyond and be like with the what is it, the celestial
it's
beyond or not?
celestial plane.
Celestial plane. Yeah. They were like, you can't go there. You can go this other way that's like not good, not fun. Or you can just sit here and wait. Like you might get rescued. But basically because of the sum of your life's actions, this is where you will go in the beyond. And I don't want to use the word railroaded because I didn't feel railroaded, but I definitely felt like, hey, like input from the table and needing to experiencing this like these moral consequences of my actions were like, okay, so it sounds like Mordork needs to go this way and like stop being so, light with his fingers and maybe be a little more considerate of other people and like do the right thing sometimes. Right. And, like, I'm not saying I got like pushed into that, but it just like that's like how things felt like they were supposed to go. Although I've had the most fun playing my character in a devious fashion or like a undermining fashion or circumnavigating fashion. Craig, what's up?
No, I man, what you are talking about to me is the heart of role-playing games. It's the heart of Dungeons and Dragons and anything. Like you are speaking, you're singing my song, man. Like you should be able to play your character however you want, right? You should be able to grab Moraddark and be the evilest lizard you want. But the DM's job is to bring you into that story and be like, well, what would happen to the evilest lizard then? Even just a mildly evil lizard. You should be protected with consequences and figure out, because your options, it's interesting that you felt like your options were, oh, I'm being real, like, I should be a good lizard. Why didn't you go the other way? Why didn't you say like, well, is there a god of bad lizards?
Yeah, that's really interesting because like you basically have to like you don't know that you're gonna need to make these decisions until like you're at the table and it's time to do it. And like so I'm a Christian and I believe in God and I believe that Jesus, is who he said he was. Yeah. And so like my instinctual reaction was like, okay, there were moral consequences to my actions that resulted in, a less than ideal outcome.
Hey, Mama,
for
what's
going
happening?
into the beyond. I should go make different decisions because I don't know, maybe that's just like the lens I see it through, which is like change of heart, change your heart, repent, like do things differently.
Oh, that's fine.
But yeah, that like now that I like am reflecting on it, like having to make better decisions with my character has resulted in me like having a little less joy
we just miscommunicated.
Playing the character.
That's all good.
Which is a bit of a weird balance. And like I know I use the word railroaded. I'm not railroaded, but it's just like it seemed like the natural.
We have switched
order,
gears and
like,
made,
hey, you were bad, now you are good.
It is
hey,
all
you
good.
were going to hell. Maybe next time you'll go to
No, it was funny. I was playing a game last year, and I was DMing, and I presented the characters with a very clear.
No, I told her that you just forgotten it.
Like an there was a person and a thing that was happening in their world, and they finally fully realized what was going on. And after that session, somebody gave me the feedback of like, well, I felt like you were leading us to what to do. And I'm like, no, I was leading you to, there is this person and there is this activity. You guys need to decide what you're doing with it. Like, I'm happy in any direction. Like, you guys can say, oh man, that's scary. Let's go to Waterdeep and Panhandle.
Ain't worried about it.
Like it's, I loved when you died and were confronted with, like, your best friend, Poppy, is now helping you to revive you, bring you back from the dead, probably with an expectation that you will repent. The priests that she paid probably have an expectation that you'll repent. I don't think you should have that expectation, both as a player and as a character. I think you should figure out what
we
do I
got all
want
the
to play
kids
this
on
character as.
this Saturday.
And
No, they're going on their dads this Saturday or
how do
this
I
Friday.
put this? Like, don't go all in on it. Like, it's
Um,
okay if Moradark is not going to go this way. What's another way? And it's not just like, oh, there's a fork in the road with one going left and right. No, there's ways and downways and sideways and right ways and left ways and right.
What if I played hopscotch with morality?
This
What if I just
or Saturday? Maybe.
It's a
Oh,
Wonkavator,
no.
right? Remember the
Mark's
Wonkavator
like,
line
oh my
from
God.
Charlie and the
Yeah.
Chocolate Factory? It's a Wonkavator. It goes upways and downways. And
Hand raise here.
Yeah.
This is
All right.
one of the
Okay,
things.
I think I have a new vision and goal for.
Sorry, I
for
jumped in right
character.
there, but it was fascinating to me. The heart of D&D.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
But
I
was
recognize-
just
I
calling 'cause
recognize
I didn't
that,
know if
like-
it was an emergency, but we were
Yeah,
actually doing
I
our
reacted and
our
played
stream
this
so
way.
I gotta jump off.
and then I like thought about how that was
know.
coming
Maybe.
out for me like at the table for any of those like subsequent sessions after that of me like reluctantly like I'm gonna go do this, like it's not the way I would want to do it, it's not like whatever, but anyways, yeah, I know that we
I can
like
totally sense like the tension in Moradark. He thinks he's supposed to be a good lizard now, but he doesn't know how or want to be a good lizard. Marcus, what do you have to say?
he wants differently for sure. Yeah.
I saw your hand go up.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say this is the part of
Maybe-
the.
Can you find me on mute?
Can you
bud?
hear me?
I can
I
hear
did.
you.
Oh, you can
Oh,
you can hear me?
Wait, hang on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you, Marcus.
Jimmy's
Oh.
the only one that can't hear me.
Oh, sorry. I thought. Okay.
He muted
Please-
you for himself, but no one
Oh,
else.
lovely. That's
My
such a
bad.
Jimmy move right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave it to the guy who literally his entire job is technology and he doesn't know technology.
On
Oh.
the Discord. My bad.
So anyway, I was gonna say about the like flip-flopping of morality thing. I think that's part of where I struggle, I think, the most with my character, is that oftentimes I want to apply my own morality to the character, but that's not the way that I know that I want to play the character. And so giving Marcus the inability to know what's right and what's wrong was kind of like a design choice to me, which is like he may feel strongly about something, but he can so easily be flip-flopped by what his friends tell him is the right or wrong answer, because he's not sure if he's the best judge or if if judging morality should be left up to him.
That's fascinating though, because there was a session like 3 or 4 sessions ago where Revel was absolutely moralizing and making decisions off of his own moral compass. And you were challenging him in a very, I don't want to say passive aggressive, it was way more interesting than passive aggressive. You were agreeing with him while making it very clear that you did not agree with him. And I thought it was like role playing at its finest.
Yeah, and I think that's how Marcus is like he has his own personal feelings on subjects, but he trusts his friends far more to tell him what the morally right path is, because he's of his personal experiences. He feels as though he's not a good judge of character or morality, and so despite wanting to think that he's doing the right thing, he is so easily convinced that he could not be doing the right thing.
So we jumped kind of away from
A little bit.
Sorry.
Kyle here. No, it's fine. This is the way it goes. This is just what's up. But
Sorry.
I do want to just bring it back to you. So your challenge in 2024 was backstories and story weaving.
Yeah.
What are you thinking for 2025? Do you have like a plan to not address it? Like it's not like a problem that needs to get solved, but like
Right.
is that just like that's D&D, that's live streaming, that's storytelling, that's the perpetual problem, or like what are your plans?
So I think there's two types of like writers. Like there's like plotters and pantsers, and so in D&D, I think a lot of longer campaigns end up being sort of like pantser styles of writing, where you're just kind of allowing the story to unfold itself, and that's where we're kind of at right now. Is that there's things that are in motion that require resolution, and how you resolve those problems is totally up to your characters, and the way that you go about resolving that will create new conflicts within your party, and those things will be also need to be addressed. But the sort of greater or larger issues that you are tackling in the world, that's more what I just have to figure out the details of how those things are happening. In the way that I like to go about it is to allow you all to tell me how you're going to solve the problem, and to not offer you solutions to pick from. So it's not multiple choice. It's a essay response, and then apply the rules that we use, like our shared language of 5th edition D&D, to see whether or not you were successful or not. And that's what creates our kind of the betting for our story, and all the dice rolls and the fun wacky stuff that happens is sort of the detail of it.
Cool. All right, dude. I'm excited for all the things we're doing in 2025.
Yeah, me too.
We still need to I think there's still probably more discussion to be had about big picture. I think that we obviously have gotten to a point where we can dedicatedly stream ongoing for long periods of time consistently with a good cadence and frequency, but just in some of the discussions we've been having with the crew and the channel, we're talking about increasing the frequency with which we stream, and maybe bringing in some more optionality for the content that we're actually producing.
Yeah, that's
actually one of the things that I loved about when we sat down and picked a name for our group was Overworked Nerds, and that's not really D&D specific. D&D, I think, is at the core of what we want to do, because we all enjoy playing games where it's the group coming together and storytelling, yeah, but really it's more about
Overworked is an understatement.
Yeah. But it's our time away from being overworked, and it's friends getting together and playing games. But we didn't box ourselves into being a D&D stream. Dungeons and Daddies that's pretty much so they stream D&D, right? Yeah. But for us, we have the optionality to go out and do other things, and nerds are nerds. We geek out and we nerd out on all kinds of stuff. So yeah. I'm personally excited for all of the optionality that's coming in 2025 for us, and what we're going to be able to do that way. I realize that this is not a question, but feel free to tack on any commentary that you have about that.
What?
Craig. Sorry, Craig, what was that?
No, what? What are the options?
Oh, man. I think we were talking inside of the Discord earlier.
Or is that super secret? We can't tell the audience yet.
They're hypothetical. I wouldn't say secrets, but I don't want to promise, or if we say something and someone's like, oh my gosh, yeah, you guys have to start playing that game, but then it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
For our joy of playing games together, that's kind of whatever. But
on-off video games, it's interesting. What if somebody did a walkthrough, or maybe filmed segments of going to the Georgia Ren Fair? Thinking about things like cosplaying. I've been getting hit. So it's funny, in Utah,
we do a surprising amount of that.
In Utah, there is a kind of a permanent Ren Fair just south of Salt Lake City. It was really interesting. I went there last summer. The vibe was amazing. There's a number of Instagram content creators that kind of use that place to make their content creation. Surprisingly, the crossover between Mormon and role-playing game content creators is very high.
They're tight. Like this.
Yeah, how did that happen? You know,
Where are we going with
that
this? What's going on?
I guess you get weird in other ways.
Yeah.
But that vibe is moving to Georgia. There is like a permanent castle thing that's happening somewhere near us, as well as in Knoxville. There is like a semi-permanent Ren Fair kind of resort thing that's going on. And I haven't dug too deep into either, but I know both are happening. And it's like, oh man, there's the nerds are awake. They're alive and well, man, and they're doing all kinds of interesting things.
Well, it's just a huge focus on like community, like
Yeah.
like people, like So-
I also think like just the world of social media has really helped. You know, nerds realize that there are lots of us, and there are people that you never even imagined being nerds are actually nerds, and that's being seen and shown on social media and Twitch and all these different avenues. So the more the online social world seems to grow, the more the nerd community grows.
Yeah.
So
Once they let us out the house,
people are here for it now.
yeah, we went outside and people were like, "Oh, there's more people like me. Sweet.
what? Yeah.
Let's be weird together."
I will say that, like, in terms of optionality, it won't be like we won't want to deviate too far away from the core of what we do. So, like, something that we did last year that I was really appreciative of was as like a backup plan when a handful of us couldn't be there for the live stream. I think Clark and Kyle and Finn jumped in and played some Baldur's Gate. So like D&D, tabletop, Baldur's Gate, online, very akin, like tons of overlap there. Really good for any of our audience members that love D&D and that love Baldur's Gate. And there's and I don't know, they're both very similar. But if we jumped in and we were like playing virtual Candyland, like, wait,
No.
no. I
Please,
was like,
God, no.
are there stories?
Maybe we'll let you run a RuneScape stream. How about that?
Dude, if you guys make
no,
RuneScape
that's
accounts,
not a
can we make
serious suggestion. It's not a serious
So,
suggestion.
okay, but hang on.
It's serious.
It's not a serious suggestion.
There are role-playing servers on RuneScape, old school RuneScape, and there's things you can do to so like old school RuneScape, you can create an
These are all
account and
hypotheticals. Overworked Nerds does not endorse RuneScape.
well, Jimmy does.
I do.
Like a 20-year player over here. My account is like level 118 or something like that of 126. So, but anyways, the long story short is like there's a way to play the game where like you can't spend money to advance your account at all. You like have to do it the old school way. You have to walk 20 miles this way to go get an egg. You got to walk 20 miles this way to make flour. And all of a sudden, when you meet back in the middle, you can make a cake. And it's like, it's a tougher way to play it. But what you can do is you can pair up like with an entire group of people to play the game in that way. You all share a bank account. You all share like advancements and unlocks and things like that. Like that is something that I would entertain. Now it's like on the outer scope of like what is feasible for us to stream, but like it's kind of akin. Like there's role playing. It's medieval. It's knights and swords and dragons and magic and all that stuff.
Tons of things. There's RuneScape, there's Baldur's Gate, there's Tailspire, there's hell. Kyle could walk us through the DM room or the D&D room, or next time he makes a modification, he could walk the viewers through whatever it is he's doing, because he's always doing that. Or if we build a new room, we can walk through that. Or
Interesting. If we build a new room,
that's a good point.
I don't know if you know this yet, Clark, but
I do.
Okay, good. Yeah, if we're building a new
We need
room,
help. What do you
Yeah, we
need for
should.
the new room?
I'm talking to my electrician buddy. I got a full like spec sheet of Kyle's setup, and we're basically taking the garage, and we'll be doing things like building like full wall partitions for backdrops, and I have my electrician buddy like taking power from one, because I only have one GFCI outlet in my garage right now, which is crazy.
Which is fine, because that's all you
that Jimmy needs an electrician buddy to run another GFCI outlet is atrocious.
You've
I'm
only
not
ever
doing
had
that. Are you kidding?
one battery charger. So it's not like you needed more.
I can do
I
it.
don't need more unless there's an entire Overworked Nerd studio in my garage, in which case I need a lot. But yeah, so he's coming through to make sure that we're properly powered for it. I'll have like battery backups, stuff like that. And the big idea right now is to be able to like take Kyle's setup, put it on a backdrop or a wall, and put it on sliders. So the setup is like collapsible into a wall, and then we can pull it out, and it's like it can collapse in for storage, and then we have room to do other things. Like I also have my gym in my garage, so I want to work out there. My wife wants to work out there, but at the same time, like we can have like production lighting, and we're running like Ethernet cables. I'm upgrading the Wi-Fi to support our upstream, and like there's a lot of changes coming to my house right now.
Yeah.
Love it. If there's anything we do to help, including electrician stuff, I am not an electrician by any stretch of the imagination, but
Me
we
neither.
have
Finn
put
likes
in-
to think he is, but he's not.
I've put in breakers and
I'm
outlets.
a way better electrician
Anyhow,
than you ever will be.
I don't touch
sounds like
electrical.
you've got a
I
few
pretty much do anything.
programs in here. I don't touch plumbing. That's what you don't want me touching. That's what, frankly, I don't think anybody that is an amateur should touch.
Finn is a Jasper.
Plumbing's okay to an
Jasper
extent.
electrician.
Depends on what you're doing.
Hey, Jasper does not have codes, all right? Well, we have codes, but nobody cares.
No.
So there's
How
a
do you write a
difference.
code for a bucket in the yard?
Yeah.
Yeah, their code is
Can't.
like, does
That's the
it
trick?
does it work?
Why do you need a bucket?
You know, for the you don't want to know.
Toss it over the fence at the neighbor.
You just shouldn't dig a giant pit out in your yard. Like, I mean, that'll work in Jasper.
Same.
Yeah, there you go.
You can't empty a bucket.
I
over
can do it in my
your
yard.
fence.
Oh, buddy.
All right.
All right.
So Kyle, I feel like I've harassed you enough.
We milked that question.
I'm gonna. What's up?
We milked that question.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Okay. No, I'm off.
All right.
Everyone else, ask your questions.
I got.
Clark, what are your questions? I'm sorry, Azariah, I should have said.
Oh, see, I couldn't hear you because someone else was talking, so all I heard was questions. I didn't realize you were directing that at me. I'm not ready for questions. I just got done doing a water change on the aquarium, so
I got some
I've been
questions.
halfway here, halfway not here. Sorry, y'all.
I-
I have a
Ridiculous.
potentially dangerous question. I don't know, contentious.
Oh, all right. We'll go with
Did
that
we
one.
use
Is this AMA After Dark? Is this Dark AMA?
After Dark. I think I'm the only one lit for After Dark.
I honestly, it was like, look, Revel and Craig. Question for Revel, question for Craig. What would you change about Revel? What would you change about me as a player? Now that we've played together for a while.
Oof.
And feel free. I turned 50 this year, y'all. I am open to criticism. I know exactly who I am and where I am.
So I've thought about this, and it's something that I've wished that your character would like double down on, because
Take
I
a
think it's
note.
hilarious. You find yourself in these moments where you go like something is like potentially dangerous, or like there might be serious ramifications if you commit these actions, or like stuff around you is happening, and you have this line that you keep repeating. You go, guys, it's just like in the books. It's like all this like heroic stuff. And I think you tried to be heroic one time, and you got like 8 arrows in the knee.
We
But-
talk a lot about you dying. We don't talk a lot about the fact that I've died like twice and almost died. Essentially every single combat encounter.
Yeah.
Hey, I bring it up
Welcome to
all
the
the time.
club.
Pretty much everybody's died, except for
Except
me.
for you.
Poppy. Poppy exploded.
Oh, not.
So
Yeah,
know.
that's like part of her kit.
think I have a
Yeah.
third of the hit points as the rest of you guys. Every single time we get into a combat encounter, I am a straight up wizard, y'all. So game mechanics don't lie.
Anyways,
Okay.
being heroic.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Just
so
hack
here's
into books.
my feedback and my request is like, man, it's really funny because like you recognize that like, oh, there's the potential for being heroic here or like doing an epic thing, and I want you to like go there. I want you to like do the epic thing and then like have your dice roll a 3 or roll an 18, and then it's like, oh, his character is amazing, or like, oh shit, like, he's dangling off a cliff now. I think it's just good. It's like good storytelling because like you witness it, but I don't see like follow through on it. And I want you to go there.
No, I love that feedback. I love that feedback. Revel is a comic book nerd. He wants you to be heroic. He wants Marcus to be heroic. He wants Azariah and his badger to be heroic. He is absolutely not ready to nut up necessarily and be heroic himself. But I am working with Kyle on, can I conceive of a world where I have enough of a protection, where I am not as made of glass as I currently am, where I can like nut up. I'm ready for it. I love it. I love that you hear it. That is absolutely part of his story arc. And he started as a nerd that is like, oh, I'm joining a group of heroes. And so that's why he's pressuring people like you and Poppy and Azariah and Marcus. Like, that's why he wants you to line up more along moralistic lines and line up more along, like, he is, in his mind right now, you're the comic book character. Mm. And he is a reliable narrator, you know? Okay. And that may change.
Canon.
So I'm there for it. I want it.
He's like an instigator, basically. I know a few of those. Yeah. Okay. I haven't thought through like Clark. Or sorry, not Clark. Craig. I haven't thought through like Craig feedback yet. But like, if I had feedback for Revel, that's what I want to see. I want to see him cry. And find out.
Yeah. See, I personally, I love Revel as a character. Like, I really enjoy watching you play Revel and what he brings to the group. It's just, I don't know. It's fun. It's quirky. It's a lot of putting things off on books or putting things off on Poppy as a leader. But then also just like, I don't know, watching you play the backstory of someone who comes from a rich racist family, and then you're trying to mesh with this group that has, well, I mean, we have money, but a certain individual hoards it to himself. So we're not rich in the least. Yeah, I don't know. I've really enjoyed it. So, but I think it would be fun to watch Rebel be more heroic.
He's going to be unhappy.
It's also added a sense of comfort to the group, which is really, fun. So, as far as feedback for Craig, I think I love you. I love playing with you. You're great. I just wish you had a volume knob. That's all. Being right next to you, I wish you had a volume knob.
So does my wife.
He does. It just fucking broke off.
That broke in one direction.
Yeah.
If I leaned over to my door right now and I said, "Honey, they wished I had a volume knob," you would hear a loud, explosive laughter in my house.
That's actually a really good point. Like,
it's not a bad thing. You bring so much energy to it that I really enjoy it. It's just naturally I'm a quiet person and you're a very loud person, so us sitting next to each other is very entertaining to me.
Can I exposit for a moment on that? There's a funny story. I'm sorry, I love stories.
I'm just gonna say one thing quick. Craig's whispers are like Clark's talking, so he'll be like whispering to Poppy on his side of the table, and I'm like, all I can focus in on because it's like his whispers have a boom to his to his voice.
Sorry.
Anyways, Yeah, let's just pile it on him right now. Let's go. All right,
Let's go. Bring it.
pause it.
Yeah,
Oh,
screw
it was
you,
a-
Craig.
it was
You're too
my
loud.
My birthday, gosh, this was probably 20 years ago. We were in California at my wife's house. My dear mother-in-law had thrown me a birthday party and invited a bunch of people from my wife's family and a bunch of people from my family. I grew up in a very large, very Italian, very Catholic family. And so everybody showed up at my mother-in-law's for this birthday party. And somehow we ended up at the kitchen table, and it was me and probably half dozen of my cousins, my mom, my godmother, a couple other people from my family. And we were doing what we always do when we get together. We were blah, 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 blah. The volume was going up and the hand gestures were going, and everybody was talking and looking at each other. And just for a moment, I leaned back and I looked around, and every member of Laura's family had like backed up to the walls of the room. And every member of my family was at the table gesticulating wildly and talking in great volume. And I was like, hey, y'all, we're scaring the normals.
I feel that.
So
I
you're
would
saying
not
it's not just you.
Yeah, no, I have a background.
He's got-
It's fine. I used to live with a New York family, so that it was very much like that all the time. They were very loud.
That actually explains a lot about Clark.
I was
Alright,
like this
that's
before the New
that's a
York
great
family.
feedback. I want to go on that journey. I want to be more heroic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm writing our story.
Because like Mordark, some of the times that I've personally found the most joy playing him was like, there's a pirate ship, there's gunpowder down there, I've got a fire potion. What's gonna happen? Like, I'm hanging off the back of a boat trying to punch my way through the wood, and then the fire. Like, one of the worst decisions I could have possibly made, as like not just as a rogue, as a character. Like any character, like just bad idea.
But didn't it
but
feel
man, it was
awesome
fun.
though?
It felt amazing. Like, it felt so good. I'm like, dude, okay, so he recognizes that there's like opportunities here. He's not like acting on it. I'm like, dude, I want him to go there. I want him to blow up a boat. We're about to go see some pirates. I want you to fucking magic missile that bitch.
I want to blow up a boat.
Absolutely.
Oh no!
You know what I want
up.
for Revel? I want someone to legitimately keep up with the books that you keep in your possession.
We need a
Because I gotta say, some of the books that you've pulled out of that bag are so specific and weird. Like, number one, why would you have that? Like, why would you choose out of the only 1,000 books that you can choose to take? Why would you take that one? You know, what does that say about your character that you felt like this would prepare you for something? I don't know. It's just a little quirk that I find with it.
Part of it, I mean, look, we're in an AMA, right? So part of it is a
Hold your
storytelling
realism.
device. 100% a storytelling device where I'm like DMing the DM, like, hey, I want to have a book about this. Part of it is he curated a set of books that was what he thought he would need in this specific circumstance. So he was joining an adventuring party. There were big things afoot. Like, think of everything that happened in the city before we left. All of that informed Revel of he wants to join the Avengers. Here we are. This is who we are. Here's where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he picked all of these books, right? It's not a random selection. It's he ran home and was like, you know, and pulled the books that he thought he would need. I probably only get to play that part with specificity a few more times before we hit another library and I can recurate the set of books.
It's probably
but-
like, this lizard is going to die many times. Let me get a book on dealing with death.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lizard Dies Volume 1, Lizard Dies Volume 2.
But I mean, I don't think it's so far fetched to say that, hey, we're going on this adventure with this adventuring party, and Revel is a comic book nerd and knows all about the different adventuring parties that go off. And there's always somebody that dies in the heroic adventuring party story. So he does have a book on how you deal with death as an adventuring party. You know, so I've really been trying to be thoughtful about how he joined this group, and he did curate this, you know, 900 books or whatever he's got in his book, his sack of many things. And he keeps pulling things out, and some of them are going to disappear. Some of them are going to be like, oh, I thought this was awesome, and everyone forgets about them.
Yeah.
And some of them are going to be cool and add to the story.
You know what's been really fun about that is trying to figure out when is a good time to like pull the card of, hey, we're gonna exposit this book a little bit. Like, it's not just gonna be a like you plop it down as a device, but it's gonna rise to the level of like content in the story, like adding something to whatever you guys are actually doing. Maybe adding a little bit of color, but
So I tried to do that. And Kyle, you beat me to the punch on it, because you started talking about like the chapters, and literally in real time, I'm looking for it. I don't see it immediately here on my chat GPT, but I was like, hey, give me 10 chapter outline on the book called like how to deal with coming back from the dead or something like that. And I GPT'd it quickly, and it gave me like my chapter outline and summary, and I was like, and pretending to read the book, I was like, like, oh, so you're back from the dead, like here's what you do. Like I was like trying to name the chapters and stuff. So like,
yeah,
maybe there's some opportunity here to like, I don't know if we need like a communal AI that we all play off of, or a GPT or anything like that that helps us interact and engage with the world that you built.
Is there a GPT or an LLM bot that we could add to the channel, like we used to do with what was that image gen one that we added to the channel with another group?
Oh, Midjourney.
Midjourney.
Yeah.
But is there like a GPT or an LLM one that we can add to the chat that we use, like if you do /LLM, give me a chat, and the bot's in the chat.
So the Discord could be a good solution there, but we could also develop a custom GPT that everyone has, like it's been shared to everyone else's chat GPT.
Like
So
a
it wouldn't be
character AI.
communal as like, I don't see what you're inputting or your responses or anything like that, but it knows like how it's interfacing, what it's been trained on, its source material. Like we could feed it all of Kyle's stuff, and then we interface with it, almost like how we interface with Kyle to ask Kyle questions. But it would be like, hey, what is west of Athoria, or what is Arendelle? What is west of Arendelle?
AIDM. Yeah.
That could
love
be
that
really
idea.
interesting, actually.
Ooh, that is extraordinarily interesting.
I'll take a book out of Rebel's stack of Advanced Archery 101 that I have to read and practice for a +1 to my head.
Seriously though, it's funny. You've been playing this ranger, and the ranger with that very specific trade-off of like, well, I could burn this to get +10 to that, or burn +10 to get advantage or whatever. I forget the mechanic, but it's one of those min-max mechanics that are famous among, like a perfect archer build.
Sharpshooter.
And if you read about people playing that character, the feedback is it breaks their heart. Right? Like the feedback on playing that mechanic is the amount of times you miss breaks their heart. It's like, oh, okay, guy, I understand. Like we have used the mechanics to maximize something that mathematically disappoints us.
Oh yeah, taking a -10 to hit is just
Well, it's negative
Heartbreaking.
5, right?
You almost have to be a glutton for punishment, really.
I'm pretty sure it's negative 10, Kyle. Negative 10 to get 10.
I think it's -5 plus 10 damage for sharpshooter.
Oh, well, then I missed a lot of shots that I should have never missed.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to have me look something up.
My son played a character based off of that mechanic, right? The samurai plus the sharpshooter plus the elven accuracy. Like there's a perfect archer build that is talked about out there, and Andrew played it, and it just never quite produces like you think it would.
Yeah.
I think that the builds out there that are more focused on roleplay, they're more focused on like you can chain these 3 things that have very little chance of failure. They don't cause as much damage, but they chain together in some interesting way. Where I'm finding the ones where it's like, hey, there's no saving throw. Hey, it's an automatic hit. Those are the ones that you're like, oh, when I pull that off, it's just going to work.
Yeah.
Not in the head, but hashtag D&D shorts.
Clark, you gotta hold your mouth right when you roll. That's the problem. You've just been rolling straight face.
The problem is my ass was very comfortable in a very specific seat in a very specific location.
Switch it up. Let's go.
We figured it out, and honestly, I got to tell you, we're gonna switch seats because my rolls don't matter. I'm gonna end up dead at the end of every combat anyway. It's just how it works.
Let's be specific.
You wouldn't if I would actually hit things and kill them.
I'm gonna kill myself in every combat.
Look, we did not die near as bad when I was actually hitting things.
Mm-hmm.
True. When you're actually able to dish out the right amount of damage, the enemies die faster than they can kill me 90% of the time.
And your thick-ass badger absolutely slays when it's
He does. Thickums.
Thickums.
Yeah.
Hashtag thickums.
That should just be like move number 1 before you like whisper your words. You should be like whispering to the amulet, like thick and ready.
I'm gonna quit doing any kind of flair. All y'all do is make fun of me for it. I'm done.
It's just a calling card. At
Everyone,
this point. It's fine.
literally everyone rallies around you. It's like Clark draws his bow, and the entire table stops, and we all go like, and he whispers the arcane words.
So
It's good. It's so good.
I dig it. And I dig thickums. I mean, it's making me think of Blizzard, and I'm trying to remember all the books, and it's like, didn't Guinevere show up first before he started doing his thing?
yeah,
Like
he found Guinevere when he's like escaping from the Underdark. Like
It was like thing number 1.
yeah, launch Guinevere first, man. Launch thickums first.
Yeah, well, okay, I've never played a character that's had this, like, badass companion to summon at a drop of a hat, so it's not the first thing I think about going into combat. Plus, my first round of combat is insane, so I don't usually want to burn a bonus action for that.
That's true.
Gloomstalker,
Right off there.
it definitely needs to attack on this first round. But I was gonna say, I imagine that at this point, like Azariah's arcane words he's whispering is like, "You stupid fucking arrow! Will you just hit?
you better
Fuck you, motherfucker, in Elvish.
God damn it! If you don't hit this person."
Oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Samuel L. Jackson.
I was gonna say we at some point need to find a book that's in Revel's collection that is how to speak or how to convince people that you speak French.
Oh, Kyle, you're right. It's -5.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Have you been subtracting
Yo.
10?
This is why I did so good at the
why,
beginning, because I was subtracting the right amount, and now I've been subtracting 10.
Dude.
D&D. The more you know.
You have been absolutely canceling out your entire bonus. Like all of your plus to hit has been basically getting canceled out.
That's a good point. Why would someone write something that it?
That was the moment. That was the moment.
Why would somebody write?
I need
something that's plus
so many
minus
shots of
10?
alcohol
Like,
right
why-
now.
Yeah, it's
I quit. Worst ranger in history.
So, Clark, I will just speak as Craig to Clark here, player to player. I hate min-maxed characters. I don't like when I like watching those videos where it's like, if you do these 5 things, you can make the most badass character ever. Both as a DM, as a player, I hate that. I want, like, I know Rebel is a fucking glass-jawed, straight-up wizard with all of the flaws that implies, and that's good. That is, I love that, right?
You know what you should do?
I tried. Rangers are so easy to min max. They really are, and so I tried really hard. And Kyle can attest to this. Like I did a lot of work to make sure that I wasn't min maxing another ranger. I mean, I've only played one ranger, but I min maxed the crap out of it. And I really like min maxing is so boring. When you min max something, it just takes all the fun out of it. But also, as a ranger, you have one thing. Shoot the damn arrow and hit the target. You got some other things, but they just, they're not as... I have things that have uses. There just hasn't been a good time to use those. So, I tried really hard not to min-max it, and when we talk about, like, items, or Kyle was giving me thickums, I was like, I want to make sure, like, this is awesome, but I also don't want to min-max. Don't give me something that's going to break your game, or make it boring, or anything like that. It's more about trying to figure out how to piece it all together.
Ranged attacks do you get per round? Like, if you didn't use any feat, if you didn't play the sharpshooter plus minus, like, if you didn't do any of that, if you're just like, I'm shooting arrows, fuck it, I'm shooting arrows. How many shots do you get?
I get 2, but on the first round, as a Gloomstalker, I get 3.
Yeah.
You should just play it as Azariah was actually going blind, and he didn't want to accept it. And so he's been missing a lot of shots, but as he grows to accept it...
I found a book!
Yeah. It's not Braille, though, so somebody had to read it to me.
Well, no, that's the collectors. We found Azariah glasses, the magical glasses.
Maybe that's what it takes. Maybe I've just been shooting blanks. Someone booby-trapped my arrows.
That is vibing with me right now. I think we absolutely, somehow, and over the next couple of sessions, we need to find the magical glasses.
Magical glasses of seeing? they're just Monday.
Would it be a monocle?
From the CVS.
I want a monocle. That's what I want.
Oh, man.
I want just a single monocle.
Because it's just the one eye. Because he's
Or
never been
eye
able to see out of the one. He's never been able to see out of the other eye.
Well,
That's all
like an eye patch.
It's just like $5 readers from CVS. Somebody, like, when he's not looking, we like snip off one side.
Yeah.
It's a monocle.
No, I think that's going to be the case. I'm going to realize that I'm going like blind in one eye, and I just need an eye patch from now on.
Yeah. If you get a monocle...
My depth
That's
a great character ad.
Yeah.
Take Busters when we go kill that guy.
It's only going to work with a top hat, just so you
Finding
know.
he's there.
glasses or just figuring out that you needed an eye patch.
I'll take a wide brim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fucking Mr. Peanut, the Gloomstalker.
I'll take a jar axle kind of wide brim hat.
Oh, yeah.
Big feather in it.
Just a huge feather. I've actually got a
Steal
nice
that
big
as eye
wide brim
patch.
hat. Yeah. You already got the costume for it in the game room, so you just...
There you go.
Big fat.
We got
Oh,
off
man.
topic.
What was that question?
No, we haven't asked a question since the first question. Oh no, I'm sorry. I asked about Revel.
The last question was
He
30
asked
minutes
about
ago.
one question.
Uh-huh.
You're right. Let's go back to a question. Who has a question?
I have a question. Oh, go ahead, Finn.
Oh, DM.
No, sorry.
question.
Go ahead, Kyle.
All right. This is actually more for everyone, so I want to get an answer from everyone. But out of all of the characters in the party, which or who does your character trust most, and why?
You know what? I'm gonna give the dumbest answer possible. That my character actually trusts Moradark, and that is just so wrong on so many levels. But it's it's so true. After all the things that Marcus has been through, he still trusts Moradark the most, and that is such a huge mistake from my perspective. What's up, Cannon?
Cannon's in the house. Oh, he's not getting his way.
No.
Wow, y'all are so mean, and y'all are
Gotta
dads.
pull out the dad. Yeah.
Dude, he
We're-
rolled his whole head. That's the universal sign of, oh,
It
I
never
gotta
ends.
go eat my vegetables, clean my room, do the chores.
My 16-year-old rolled his head and huffed at me today.
So, okay, this is weird. But like, Moradork trusts Azariah the most.
Interesting.
And here's why. Because like Azariah is like, this is how it is. Like, this is the way. Like, do not deviate. Like, we do this action and then we do this action because that is correct. Like, he's so matter of fact, and it's unchanging as well. So if it was ever like, if it was a situation that required trust, I know that like the moral compass is good, and like it's not, it's like he's unchanging. Like he doesn't have like mood swings, and he's like crazy one day and then like normal the next. He's like, he just is constant. So if I was looking for dependability and reliability, I'm looking for that Toyota Tundra, and that's Azariah.
I'm more like a Sequoia because of all that cake, but I get you.
Thicket has the cake. Let's not get it confused.
Dude, no, we've got the photos. Azariah has the cake.
Oh, snap.
It's good. Well, hey, if you guys join the page,
Only on our Patreon.
Find out where the cake is on our Patreon.
find
Not
out where
a lie.
Azariah hid the cake.
Hashtag the collection.
Hashtag the collectors.
So I think Revel, the person he trusts the most is Poppy.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Because she fits the archetype. Like, as he opens his comic book, it's like, oh, small town girl as cleric of good God, trying to get her group of people to do good thing. Yeah, that fits exactly.
How many stories in this fantasy setting start with that? Apparently a lot.
Oh, that fits. Like, she is like, oh, absolutely. That makes all the sense.
A lot of heroines here.
She's like
Weird is that
up on
he's
my
seen-
list. She's up on my list.
Yeah.
But I think because of my character's history.
Same, number 2.
With her, it's like I've seen her like not like literally because of like roll of the dice type of stuff, where it's like we're fighting a thing and like she doesn't follow through, or like she's like healing and she like, I don't know, it's like uncertainty there. And I think trust will follow where there is the most certainty.
Yeah.
So who I trust the most, Azariah, but Poppy's like obviously up there because like good moral compass. I know she's trying to do the right thing all the time, but sometimes her character fails at doing that. Not at her own, like, not because she made the wrong decisions, but literally because of roll of the dice.
Yeah, I would put Poppy first for Revel. But what he's coming to grips with is he is seeing that Poppy is compromised by Morador. Like, and he is starting to realize, like, wait, she's not doing the things that I would expect of the good cleric, small town hero girl. And she is compromising those things that I would expect when it comes to this lizard man. Whereas the person that is like now on his question mark list is Marcus, because he's like, this guy might literally fucking kill himself if it's the thing that he thinks is the right thing to do at that moment. What does that mean?
Legit. No, legit. And that's another thing about like the way I set up Marcus is literally like, if the thing that is required in order to save my friends is for me to die, absolutely, not even a question. It's on my like list of personal like laws. Is like friends is the number one law that I abide by. It's like, are my friends going to live if sacrificing my life in order for my friends to live is what needs to happen, without question. That is the only thing that matters. Like, as far as the morality is concerned, the morality of it is this a 2-year-old that's about to murder Mordark? I don't know. Mordark's pretty easy to murder, so it's possible, right?
Yikes.
So the question is, would I unalive myself or unalive a 2-year-old for Mordark? Probably, if that's what was required, But does that make him a moral person? I mean, no. And that's why I say his morality is flexible, because it doesn't. He can't be the judge of that. He can't be trusted with that, because to him, it's about like protecting the people that have helped him get through what he's gone through in his life. So like when he's establishing Revel and Azariah as part of the group, he's also trusting their moral compass as he gets to know them more. So yeah.
Love it.
I can see that.
That's a tough question for Azariah. Mostly
Do
because
you trust anybody?
it's mostly because of it's just like his background and his backstory, and just like he had these people that he trusted with his life, and he kind of more or less got them killed. So there's that moral dilemma with that. But if he were, unfortunately, it's kind of a tie between Revel and Poppy.
Really?
And a little bit more towards Poppy, just because she has shown less wavering in her views, in her beliefs, and she's been in support of the people the most, and seems to be willing to make the appropriate sacrifices for people when it's needed. But Revel has also not really shown anything that sends up massive red flags, except for when he stole stuff out of the alchemist's hovel.
Stand by that.
That was like literally the first time that you really witnessed Revel doing something not morally right. Marcus and Mordark are kind of easy givens. That's Mordark constantly steals from people and leans a little too heavily. Questionable individual living in a mirror when times get tough, and so it's just kind of like, well, I don't know if I can trust you because, well, you won't even rely on yourself entirely. And then Marcus, he does drugs.
Hey, there's
Wow.
something that we haven't taught. So like, tiny aside, I'm just gonna mention it. So Lorathiel is this archfey who's been around for a really long time. Like, knows stuff, been around the block, super strong, kind of wise. Like, he sees him as like, oh, you're also a trickster, you like to play and have fun, so we have like common ground, mutual interests. But also, Mordark didn't grow up with a dad. So there's a bit of a play here where it's like
Daddy. Fey Daddy?
Yeah, like a dad issue.
Daddy.
So Kyle
Daddy.
brings a fucking dragon to steal the mirror, and Mordark's like, I will do anything to keep this mirror. This is the closest thing I've had to a father, and I haven't mentioned this to him yet.
Yikes.
But it was like the immediate play I was going for.
That was so wild. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I was just, my drug-addled brain was just doing random things. So sorry, everybody.
Can't trust him.
Yeah, you can't trust a druggie. You can trust one thing. They're after more drugs.
Obviously, I trust Thicket the most, but I don't know if you want to count him as a member.
Careful, he might send a dragon to steal your amulet.
Hey.
Good luck. They won't matter.
It's the DM's prerogative to take away things that they give you.
He could steal the amulet, but he can't do anything with it. He just takes Thicket away from me, which would be really upsetting, but it doesn't sever the bond.
You hit the radar, and you didn't have any type of protection for any detection. So the conflux was protected, but the mirror was just kind of in your pocket.
Hit the radar. Like, so this thing just was overhead, and he recognized that it's.
He went,
Yeah, there's this thing called detect magic, and like
I
it
smell
just
magic.
shows magical items, and yeah, you always have one in your pocket. So anytime anybody, let's say it's a BBEG or anything like that, anytime anybody says cast detect magic, like you light up like a Christmas tree, bro.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, we all have magical items that light up. But you probably literally, you're like a beacon.
You're literally
from
like,
New York.
yeah, the sun. It's like, oh my god, what is that?
Poppy's explosion wasn't even as bright as you shine and detect magic.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm learning things as a new player. Which, by the way, like, I've been playing this for like
A
I
year.
think still under 2 years, right? Like I've been playing D&D for longer than 2 years.
It's been a while, but it's not been like in the D&D time. It's not been a crazy amount of time.
Yeah, like I probably have like low double digits of sessions, like in the 20s probably, for my amount of exposure to D&D. So
Which-
like, that like
I personally really, really enjoy like watching.
Yeah, my
like
favorite part.
you're
favorite
clearly still a new player and you're still learning, and you're not like a weirdo like Kyle and Finley and myself who would literally just sit there and read the D&D manual for fun.
Sometimes Jimmy is like, can I do this thing? And it's like, you mean the thing that your character literally can do as an action? Yeah, you can do that.
pulls up rogue character sheet. Can I
Can I
sneak
pickpocket?
I cast mage
Do I get
hand,
sneak attack
okay?
in this encounter?
There's now a giant ethereal hand in front of you. Like, oh, that's what that does.
It's just,
man.
it's really fun. It has a lot of facepalm moments, but I really love that
I
for
will say-
you and for us, and the fact that you're kind of playing a character who's still learning how to be a rogue. He's just
A rogue,
wanting to be a rogue, so he's
emperor.
trying to figure out how to do it. So it just plays in
Yeah.
so well.
Yeah.
It's
There's, like,
infuriating,
one
but also
thing
exhilarating.
Like my character grew up knowing like not just like steal to survive, but like steal to thrive.
Nice.
There's
It's fucking Tony Evans of rogues.
Right?
So,
you want to
who
get ahead
here
in
has
life?
read
Fucking take it from everybody. Oh my god.
we all outed ourselves as Christians earlier. Who here has read the Chronicles of Narnia?
Yeah, I think we
watched
all
the
have.
movie. Does that count?
The movie doesn't count.
I've only
No.
watched the movies.
Fucking nerds.
All right, so I will nerd out there for a second on the Overworked Nerds. The very last book of the Chronicles of Narnia is called The Last Battle. In The Last Battle, there is a famous character in the C.S. Lewis kind of apologetic canon that is one of the worshippers of Tash, which is like the evil god in the C.S. Lewis Narnia world. And this follower of Tash finds himself in the realm of Aslan and confronted with Aslan and was like, sorry, Aslan, like, I'm not your guy. Like, I belong to the other guy. And Aslan tells him, like, look, I've seen you. I've seen what you've done. You belong to me. Like, I saw you nice to these people. I saw you do these good things. I saw you live this way. It's a famous moment in apologetic literature for Christianity, but it makes me think of a D&D world where Moradar comes to meet some sort of trickster thief god, and is like, oh no, trickster thief god, like my god is, Lathander, the god of light, and the trickster thief god is like, nah bro, I've seen you. I was there when you like pickpocketed the old lady when you were
Mhm.
like where you realize who you are.
I think that's so there's maybe a play off of bye Finn. There's maybe a play off of like Psalm 139, which is like God search my heart, like
Yeah.
search me and find what is like displeasing and like remove it from me. I don't know if like do we this ends up being like a Kyle question.
Huh?
Is our story like deities and their subjects and how we're like chess pieces on a chessboard? Like, is that the story? Is that true? That's
How
not
do you mean?
that is such a huge question.
And
You
that's
mean,
always
like,
the story.
the way that
Like, okay, so Poppy's character
uh-huh.
has had a lot of involvement with like a deity and a temple and a belief system.
Right.
Marcus is like runes, occult, blood magic, like all that stuff. Revel, what is your magic source? Is it arcane, just arcane magic, or question mark?
Yeah, I think Revel is just arcane. He doesn't have.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't hear the Revel part there. It blurted out. No, I
Oh,
didn't hear arcane.
sorry.
Revel
Okay.
would believe in the gods. Like he absolutely understands the pantheon of this world. He would understand all of them and be seeking the one that is most kind of in tune with the weave of magic. But he's not super religious because his power does not come from directly
Okay.
divine source.
So that's what I'm saying here is like I see like one character that even mentions
Mm-hmm.
a deity or anything like that, but like I personally like it's not even on Mordark's radar that he should be seeking a god in this world, that he should be like trying to gain its favor or anything like that's not even
Yeah.
on my radar.
Even after being brought back from the dead by a powerful priestess of a literal goddess.
I'll say that like Mordark didn't feel compelled to like devote his allegiance to this deity. It's just like this is like in his head it was like this is how the system works, like they have the power to do that.
Yes.
What Mordark did feel compelled to do was like, hey, be and the little like dude beyond the veil with the hood and the eyes and everything was like, hey, because of the way you lived your life, it's this way. You could have gone this way, but it's this way. And like that locked in and secured in his head that it was like, oh, okay, it's not because one deity found me one way or another, but like just like moral balance.
Mm-hmm.
Like there wasn't a deity at the end that was like, I think you're bad because of this. It was just like this thing.
Interesting. Fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the way that
Love it.
I've sort of contextualized it, and like some of this is in like the World Anvil like wiki, but at the kind of like the creation of this world, and then pulling from different elements from other authors, but there is a sense in which there are the like prime deities, the ones that are more aligned with the like classical sense of good, and they at a certain point in history wrested control over those gates between the celestial plane, which is the more like comfortable, like heavenly type place, and who ends up going to the Nine Hells, which is a plane essentially created like from the remnants of an elemental like disaster, and the gods that diverted from the classical sense of good, they ended up being the arbiters or the ones in control of the Nine Hells, but they don't necessarily control who goes there. Like they sort of like sit and lie in wait for souls or individuals that have passed beyond the veil to be sentenced to the Nine Hells, and then once they are, then they kind of like, okay, you're in my domain now, you're a part of my assess control, and that is partially why when Mordark did pass beyond the veil and was brought back, because he was sentenced to the Nine Hells. There is an entity or betraying deity that saw Mordark as like their possession and felt cheated when he was brought back. So it's not so much like pieces on a chessboard, but more so just the divine creatures that are sort of watching and judging people's lives based on their spectrum of good and bad, and saying whether or not they believe that creature would do well to enter the celestial plane. And if they don't feel like they would, then they, kind of scrap them to the Nine Hells, and they're done with it. But then there are like clerics and things like that can kind of work on their behalf and either bring them back to life or help them to find peace with a deity. And I would say that's definitely influenced by like the other authors and also by like my Christian background. But
that's fascinating, because part of what we're talking about here too is generational, right? We've talked a little bit about when we started playing D&D.
Mm-hmm.
And I started playing D&D with 2nd edition, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And deity and deities was a much larger part of character creation and storytelling. And they started removing it in 3rd edition, and by 5th edition you don't even have to fill it out. Like, you're generally not presented with the option. It's a blank field that you may or may not fill out, right? And you may or may not seek out in the different books. They have some of the information in the books, but it's interesting, as a Gen X player, coming to the what your religion is a massive part of your character. And you guys that are starting today, like, nah, it's not that big a part of my character.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been cheated. Like, okay, more dark thinking here. Like, if I had aligned myself with a god, would have I gotten more stuff? Would I have gotten more abilities? Would I have gotten more favor, or more opportunity? Like, what did I miss out on?
Especially the bad guy gods. They are well known for just, oh, you wanted more shit? Well, if that's what you're interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me more soul, you get more shit. Yeah.
And I actually thought about this the other day, but just the concept of like in the future, like writing a different world in which the prime deities were the more like malevolent aligned gods. Like they ended up being in control. And so then you kind of like have to flip the morality or the that what's it called, the index or the good evil spectrum. You almost have to flip that then, because then good becomes okay. What is the in this new context, like what is the good thing to do, right? Is it to act on my own best interest, and is it to be selfish, or is it to be chaotic? It's a very like interesting concept that I want to play with, because if you think about like how like history is written, it's the people that win the wars, those are the people that end up writing the books, and they get to say like what is right and what is wrong. And so in the same way, on like a cosmic level, if the good deities had lost and they were the ones that were kind of like placed in this dumpster and told like you'll get the throwaway souls, like does morality shift, or is it just like the people who are actually good classically end up going to a place that seems more actually good, or would it be more disastrous? And so I don't know, I'm interested in starting that journey and then walking through it, unpacking it, and what that looks like.
Ooh, that's so fun, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been talking a lot. Azariah, Jimmy, Marcus, you guys talk.
Oh, dude, I think we've all been talking. It's all good.
I love how Jimmy's the only person that gets called out by his real name, and the rest of us are character names.
Dark is kind of a mouthful when you're just throwing around quick names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to shorten it
Lizard.
down. Lizard Man.
Dickhead?
MD.
MD.
Mickey D's.
Playing around with celestial magic like that, I think, is super interesting.
Yeah.
I don't want to get us copyright struck, so the book series by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, where there is a lance upon a dragon, plays around with the idea of
You mean
there is a singular event in the world where the gods basically band together and like change the world. Like they cause a big negative event to happen. And the fallout from that event literally drives the primary good god kind of insane. And he becomes a character in his own world where he is still the kind of primary good god, but his avatar, the person that is kind of out there in the world that may be interacting and presenting himself to normal people, is this wildly insane person who is insane from post-traumatic stress.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That is kind of why that whole thing interests me, because it's like in this setting the gods themselves have experiences, and so by that like idea that they have experiences means that they can be affected by like external stimulus, and you know, if something happens, like someone close to them perishes, then that would obviously be like extremely traumatic, and it would change the way that they kind of view what is like right and wrong, good and evil. And yeah, that would be cool if the idea that the lance on the dragon lady writer took kind of came into play in our stuff.
Hey, Finn had a question earlier, right?
Oh yeah. Finn, unmute. Ask question.
I did have a question? Question mark?
Yes.
Classic.
He forgot his question.
Yeah. What? Shit. What was my question?
When
You know
eat
what?
something.
Yeah. That's my question. What was my assigned question again? DM.
Yes.
Yes. No, I think as far as a different subject could go, I guess I could ask for a question about Marcus, or what would you guys like to see from Marcus or myself to improve the game, or just moving forward?
A better variety
Growing
of
up?
drugs. You kind of been sticking with that one trick. Need a wider variety of drugs.
Wider variety of drugs. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Throw a couple of different ones in there.
Expand your horizons.
Go sober. I want to see straight edge Marcus.
I think it's coming. I think it's on the way. And I'll tell you, it's something I've had planned for the character for a long time, is sobriety. But it has to be. Listen, if you're on drugs, what gets you off of drugs? It's usually crisis, right? Like it's a crisis of faith. It's a crisis of your circumstances, like your friends or your family. It's a near-death experience, which obviously is not a trigger for him. That doesn't bother him.
Prison?
So, do what?
Prison.
I said prison?
No, that's happened before.
We tried that.
Yeah, we tried that already. But I think there have been a couple of triggers, and I think the couple of triggers, number one was Mordark dying. Was like, there was a moment where I think Marcus was like, how could I possibly protect this person that I care about if I don't even know what's happening half of the time? So that was one.
Here's a potentially very triggering and emotional question for you, Marcus. Have you ever worried about the visual, like the optics of playing a character that performs self-harm on a regular basis to supposedly better themselves in life? Like the visual. Oh, he's muted. That's fine.
No, I'm listening. I just, don't want. I'm on the phone right now, so I don't want it to have like some echo or anything like that.
Yeah.
As far as like from a viewer's perspective, or just like me, the player, looking at what this self-harm is doing to the character.
Both. I mean, it's just such a profound character trait. It's I don't know. I think about it often when you're, basically killing yourself in an effort to deal damage and fight.
I think it has a deep-seated, like, okay, so like, and this might go a little bit into like the religious sector, but when people that were of faith back in a long time ago used to hurt themselves, it would be like to remind themselves that they're still like human bodies and that they're, lesser than the God that they serve. And so oftentimes you see in history that self-mutilation is kind of like it's almost like a holy ritual. So like to say that it's looks bad or whatever, I wouldn't put it in that light. But I would say that it's almost similar for Marcus, is like when he is doing these things, there's like some pain and some anguish there, like in his past, I think, where like when he cuts himself to produce fire, it's almost like a reminder of like, well, I deserve this, or like the things that I've done in the past, this is what I get.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's
That's
because Marcus, like back in his like adolescent years, like wasn't worthy, or maybe he like had this perspective that he like wasn't worthy of good things, therefore he deserves bad things.
Absolutely. And I think it goes even back further than just like, his time as an orphan, but like even his time as a child, like from his perspective, because he doesn't know what happened, right? But that's so true in all of our adolescent years, is we don't know what the true stories are. But from Marcus's perspective, his parents gave him up, or like got rid of him because they didn't want him anymore, and stuck him in an orphanage where he kind of felt like people were just like taking pity on him. The only reason that they would give him a home or be friends with him or anything like that was to take pity on him because of his situation. And then later in life, getting taken advantage of and doing horrible things to try to fit into somewhere. Kind of, it definitely, his past plays a part in why he's so okay with mutilating himself consistently.
Yeah.
Good.
That is good.
So this is what they meant by dark, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, it is officially after dark now, so
Yeah.
Right.
Dark outside.
I think that what's funny about Marcus is that oftentimes at the table, my character, I feel like, comes across as just kind of like this goofy, do whatever the fuck you want kind of character. And there's a lot more to him, but I don't think he's the type of character that's gonna just like give this information willingly. There's too much like hurt. There's too much pain there
What's
to like
fascinating with
be
all
open about it.
with this whole story of Marcus is your relationship with Mord, right? And
Yeah.
you're talking about like, oh, you have this conflict within you that is leading you to this self-harm, and that manifests in how you behave as a character. How much of that is also, you know, your bestie growing up in small town, wherever it was, being the sneaky bad lizard, right? And so you have these moral ideals, but you're also like, you've spent a significant chunk of your formative years now being the best friend of somebody who is continuously coming up with bad ideas. You know,
Super cool ideas.
yeah, super cool bad ideas.
I totally agree with you, and that's why like I think that it's a moment of self-realization that happened in Marcus before I would say the campaign started, which would just be like, I don't pick the best like role models for myself, and I don't always make the best choices.
I love
So
this
like,
tension, 'cause it's like
I'm the person, that
wanting
can't
to go
decide.
more bad. Like, maybe I'll just embrace the bad side. And,
Right.
But you guys are best friends. Like, all you've cared about, if we talked earlier about predictability, stability, you know, if there is one predictable element in the current party, is that Marcus is going to go after Mordor. If there's a problem.
Chase and tail, baby. Chase and tail. You just can't help yourself.
Oh my god.
I think that because the Mordark is the person that Marcus had ever grown the closest to in his life, that it would be like the closest thing that Marcus has to a family member would be Mordark, and would be, I mean,
So
and
Mordark, this
Poppy,
selfish lizard who wants to go do more selfish lizard shit, has two best friends that are just absolutely wanting to be the best people in the world, but they are hampered by their relationship with Moradar.
Go figure. Yeah, literally.
Sad trombone on point.
Oh my god. And so now, Craig, you understand the dilemma that we have been dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say though, like, as far as class choice, Bloodhunter is probably the most perfect choice for Marcus as a character. Like, just because it kind of embodies or brings with it that kind of Geralt of Rivia, which is, I think, a big inspiration for the class build itself, where it's like he sits outside of what are these like societal norms and how things are defined. He's like, no, I do things like my way, and the people that I associate as like good and trustworthy are my people, and they don't have to necessarily fit into any box. Like, they're just the people that I have seen be dependable and trustworthy, and I've decided that yes, they are good. And so for Marcus, it's
and similarly, Geralt of Rivia makes choices that other people in society would not consider moral, but they fall within his personal moral compass. So whereas other people may not understand the choices that he's making, and oftentimes Geralt of Rivia makes these choices based off of experiences that he's had in the past, which determine why he's making that moral decision. And that's, Marcus is very similar. Like the people, that we were like, oh yeah, these racist dragon people. I mean, really the moral side of in me, I was like, yeah, fuck racists. I mean, come on, those are some bad folks. Racists are not good, and
Right.
I think we all at the table agreed that racism bad. But Marcus was like, now wait a minute, I've been in this situation before where I have misjudged, or I have been misjudged for my actions because I thought I was doing the right thing. I was convinced that I was doing the right thing, and later I found out that I was doing the wrong thing. So, like,
Yeah.
Marcus is really good at putting himself in other people's shoes
Yeah.
to see that particular, like, the bad side of things. You know,
You
it's
had sympathy for the lizard racists.
I did. I like Marcus had legitimately was like, these guys don't know that what they're doing. They just don't understand it. If
Hey
they
guys, Hitler
understood
just
it,
didn't
they
understand.
probably wouldn't think that way.
Oh no.
Like Hitler didn't understand. He made concrete and killed Jews.
Pretty sure he
Hey,
got
look, they just
he had
they
a
were
pretty good idea what he was
poorly
doing.
educated as growing up.
Right,
no.
that's the thing. If you grow up thinking that racism is cool, then of course you're going to become a racist. You think it's cool. Every now and then you might get that one guy that questions it and be like, hey, wait a minute. You know, but for the most part,
What?
You know what's
They're just
crazy?
an entire town that was influenced by somebody who was an asshole sometime in their past, and it just became the norm. You know, it's not their fault. If you show them a better way, maybe they'll convert. There's no reason to kill an entire town.
and so that's why initially I believe Marcus was very unmoving in the idea of, you know, leaving these people to the wolves.
Yeah.
But as time went on, again, like I said, Marcus is not going to be dead set that his moral compass is right above anybody else's in the party because he can't trust himself. So as he got convinced by other people that no, this is what we should do, and then there was another plan that was presented to itself, which was just let's just fuck off.
Mhm.
And he's like, okay, this is the best middle ground that I think I'm going to get to, which is we just leave them to their own devices and hope for the best. Then that's the plan he went with.
Yeah, I think once Marcus's like categorization of monster is set, he's like, all right, that's a monster, fucking kill it. But before that,
Yeah.
it's a lot harder for him to just like apply the label of monster unless it's like something directly physically threatening his friends or someone he's deemed like good.
Exactly. Physical threat, easy. Moral compass, so easy.
Wait,
Draw
were you there
sword.
for
Draw
the
sword.
Owlbear altercation?
I personally wasn't.
Right. But like, was Marcus? I'm
There,
trying to remember.
I think narratively they said that he was elsewhere, so we just wanted to
Yeah.
to simplify it. But yeah, that would have probably been an easy like Marcus would have.
What happened with that?
They killed it and
You
brought
didn't
it back
tune
to
into
life.
the stream? Just got outed, bro.
Oh man.
We were trying to sneak past the owlbears, pass without trace. Azariah was like, guys, this is game. Like we can kill these things, skin them, eat them, resources. Like he looked at it from that approach, and I was like, I Mordor was like fascinated. Like I've always heard about these things, but I've never seen them. Like, oh, I want to see them. He saw them for like not like a beautiful creature, but like a mystical. I've never seen this kind of creature. And wanted to like basically owlbear watch.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of similar with Poppy and Rebel. I don't think you have like I didn't think you at that point in time had an interest in like, well, kill owlbears for sport. It was just like a don't fuck with that thing. Like it's
Probably would have relied on my blood hunter intuition at that time. Probably would have done like a nature check or a religion check or something like that to see like are they inherently evil? You know, is this something that
Yeah.
will probably hurt somebody at some point later? And then based on that,
Yeah.
probably would end up trying to kill it.
yeah. You actually might have swayed the party. So what ended up happening was Poppy ended up being discovered by the owlbear, and we ended up getting in a fight with the owlbear.
Surprise, surprise.
Right?
Didn't we escape though? Like we didn't kill the owlbear, if I remember right.
No, Poppy did CPR on the thing before we ran away. Because
I remember.
all
Yeah.
these little owlbear little babies came out of the cave, and it was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
we just killed the mom. Are the babies gonna survive? Like,
Yeah, more hearts, more claws,
Yeah,
more stuff for the trader.
Their eyes were so big. The baby eyes.
yeah,
Their eyes too. Yeah, I heard those are good to trade.
sociopath, dude.
Oh man.
They are
Yeah.
quite the delicacy.
Yeah.
Oh, as
I
a
mean,
writer.
to like when it comes to monsters, that is something that like specifically the blood hunters are like, I don't give a fuck if it like looks cute or what. Is it valuable? Does it kill people? If one of those two things are true, it's probably going to die in my presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, your presence at the table there probably would have swayed the party to like actually just go approach the cave and fight. Even though we ended up fighting anyways, but like everyone else around was like, yeah, we can just like walk past without a trace and just like leave the wildlife be.
And on that session, we learned that Pass Without a Trace does not help Poppy's horrible stealth.
Nothing helps Poppy's horrible stealth.
Okay,
It was a waste of a spell choice for me, apparently.
Yeah, it's situations like that where I'm like, dang, it's like Poppy tries, but doesn't always stick the landing, and I'm like, and I have like way more time and history with Poppy that like I see that, and so that's why on the trust question earlier I was like, she is somebody who should be very very trustworthy, but then we run into situations like planky armor can't pass without a trace, and it's like, dang it.
Also, just welcome to the struggle of D&D, where you have like a min-max rogue who's like, I am built for stealth, and then you have a bunch of clanky members of your party who ruin it every single time.
What are you talking about? I turn out great. Everyone else gets this turn.
We need to knock this guy down a peg. Fine.
I don't know if
My
it's
stealth
possible.
check does the 36 count? Does the 36?
Yeah.
Do I pass without a trace then? My favorite commentary is when I roll really high. Kyle's like, and Mordark just evaporates.
Yeah.
He becomes nothing.
Yeah.
Fine red mist.
Stealths
Yeah.
into a new campaign.
No.
Well, I think we got a few more minutes. I don't know if we want to ask another question, or if we want to kind of call it here. End with some like closing thoughts for next session. Maybe something we're excited about.
Let's do. I have something. It's for everybody. So everyone, if you want to answer, what are you as a player or as a character looking forward to this year?
Sobriety.
Okay, there you go. Marcus.
Giving a -5 for sharpshooter instead of -10.
Okay, you both just talked at the same time.
Sorry.
-5 instead of -10 on sharpshooter.
Hey,
Nice.
hitting things.
I am really looking forward to that. Getting over this new year, new hump into the metronome again of normalcy.
Amen.
Kyle?
I think for me, I'm most looking forward to seeing how all of the things that have transpired build into this next arc of the campaign. Because as I look at it, like it's like for levels 1 through 5, it's like a certain tier of play, and now you guys have moved into like the next set of tier of play. But you've already been doing a lot that is pretty, I'd say, epic and having world level implications. But levels 6 through 10, that is like you are like regional heroes, like you were, heroes of the realm essentially. And so I'm interested to see, the events in Arendor, the events from the ruins, and now most recently, like with the slave trading, how all of those things kind of come together and what outcomes. I don't know if that's very specific, but I'm interested in general in how the story is going to go.
Well, it is very specific, and it also, I think it helps the group as a whole, because I mean, if 6 through 10 is to become heroes of the realm, I guess we have to, it's all the more important to really stop and consider our decisions and choices and everything.
Yes. Also,
I might actually do that once.
Revel, I think some NPC needs to run up and be like, I've heard about you. You're one of the heroes of the realm. And that can, like, switch him and be like, yeah, I'm the hero. I do the hero stuff. Like, that would be really cool.
We do that if you become a good lizard, my friend.
I want there to be smut written about either Mordark or Marcus.
Oh God.
Or both. What actually happened?
Fan fiction
with,
about the lizard and the blood hunter.
The lizard and the ship captain.
Yeah, Captain Alara.
Oh yeah. What really happened?
Actually happened.
Yeah.
behind closed doors. Mordark
Oh, what's the oh my God, what's the powder monkey's name that went down below deck that was dancing with Poppy? It's from his perspective.
Oh man.
This is a throwback right now. This is such a throwback.
It wasn't that powder monkey like a small child?
No. He's an old.
No, he's an old guy.
I'm blanking on his name right now.
There was a small child, wasn't there?
And he went down below deck and he.
Yeah. There was definitely a little girl in that boat with like a possessed bear.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. That would be fun to run into them again, though.
It's a throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm scared for? I'm scared for the BBEG. I don't know when this big bad evil guy is coming, but at some point he's coming, and I just don't. We're just not ready.
Level 12.
It's going to be fun.
I am personally looking forward to recreating more epic, comedic, and tragic moments. I feel like what I lack in like player experience, I try to really make up for in storytelling and like, I don't know, chaotic decision making. And I like it's something that brings me joy when I play the game. What's the hand for?
No, I was just trying to think because Marcus did it earlier, and I was like, I want to indicate that I have something to say too, but I was waiting for you to finish yours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like for my gameplay at the table, both me, the human, because I get joy out of it, but also like anticipatory for Moradark is like the antics, the shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for it. Like I'm ready. I'm gonna crank the dial.
Yeah.
I have a stretch goal. Nice claps. I have a stretch goal for the year. That's a dream. I've talked to Kyle about this. I would love to play D&D live in front of an actual audience, if there is an audience that would want to watch it. Like Roll20 Tavern, or some of the live shows we've seen from 20, or I don't care if 10 people show up. It's like, I think it would be rad.
Yeah.
Should we just invite them all to my house?
Sure.
That would be rad. I think we should stretch goal that for this year, and just like tentatively plan one at some point for like between October and December.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Rent the stage at the Woodstock Arts and just like put it out as an event. See if anyone shows. Maybe no one does, but you know.
I will say that
Yeah,
based on our relationships in the city, within the city of Woodstock, and things that have kind of gone on, there is a very high non-zero chance that that would be a reality for this year. But that's a speculative opportunity. But I think that's all I can say.
Right. That means everybody's got less than 10 months to button up and get their costumes on point.
Oh, right? For real.
Can't do live without solid costumes.
Okay, we
You
we
can't
just
be
started
wearing
with
your
the
molten
question.
skin anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I
More
started to
suit.
like try to figure out more about like more for a costume for myself. But I agree, like I think we as a group should just like have a discussion about that across the board. Like I want to look, crazy good when I play D&D. I don't know about anyone else, but like I want to look the part.
Yeah.
So
Same.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of more on the page of being more of our normal selves on a regular basis, and then costumes being associated with special occasions or like special episodes, whether it's holidays, live performances, or because that just makes the appearances of our costumes that much more special.
Our Halloween stream did like crazy good.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
So like going all out for Halloween and Christmas, but like
Yeah.
our live performance, or if there's any other special moments throughout hell, even Kyle can be like, hey, tonight's a night that we should all be in costume. And just like, I don't know, it's kind of like cheating a little bit, but like,
We'll talk about it more in our group chat, but like I agree. Actually, something that I see here that could be really fair is like we each have like a signature piece. Like it makes sense that like Rebel's got a scarf, except maybe something that's not gonna make you sweat when we're gaming in the summer. But like some kind of signature piece that doesn't like it like shows who your character is, and then there's like your full get up that like is like that special occasion. I think that's probably a smart way to do it, so that we at least know that like Azrai is a ranger.
I've struggled with that. I want to. I love it. I want it. I have chosen to play a effeminate elven wizard, and
Yeah,
I
baby.
can't get rid of my beard or who I am. All
no,
the
you don't have to
plastic
do that.
ears in the world can't get rid of Craig.
But
Craig, I
think we
imagine you're one of
need-
those that when you get rid of the beard, you just look like you're 2 years old.
We just need like
I
a
think
bald
I think
cap
we need to
for
find someone
Jared's
that makes
beard.
those like 10-inch tall like figurines or like statues for each character, and that just sits in front of us during stream.
We'll figure it
good
out.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll get in the chat and hammer it out.
Yeah.
Here is something that is a stretch goal for me, which is I want to get back into DMing, which is something that I legitimately enjoy doing from start to finish. I love it. It's just so stressful, and it's very difficult to do it right the way that I like to do it, which is the absolute like prep to the nines way of doing things. There's so much involved when I do DMing, when I'm DMing one of my actual campaigns. But like, I don't know. I think one of my stretch goals will be like once a month do a special episode or something where we're doing a separate campaign, like miniature campaign, a little bit faster paced than what we do now. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That's something that people would be open to, but I think it would be fun.
I'm here for more Finley DM. That was fun, but I also think it'd be really cool to see everybody DM one.
Dude, I can't even imagine.
It can be a lot. I love it, but it's a lot. Just like Finley, like I don't want to ever do it again because it's just my OCD-ness, my planning. It
Could
consumes
you
me.
imagine having the
It's the
DM
thing about
for
being a
me?
DM.
You're gonna walk me into like a tree maze. I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm not going in there, and I just like walked left.
Yeah.
No, I'm used to that. I've dealt with something like that. My very first campaign, it was literally the preamble, the setting, and they had to go one direction. I only gave them one direction out of the tavern to go like on this mission that they accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one player who's like, "I'm going to go the other way."
Yeah.
What? Okay, great. You're no longer a part of this game.
That's why I just world build and I don't worry about trying to
Yeah,
write a campaign. It's like,
I'm definitely somewhere in between Kyle and Clark, which is I really like for the story to be planned out a lot, but I'm good. If you want to go off and fuck off and do whatever the hell you want to do, by all means do it, and I will support you in doing it. I will put whatever you want to in front of you. That's fine. It doesn't bother me. But I am prepared in case you go down the rabbit hole.
I mean, that made me a better DM in the understanding that there's always going to be someone who just wants to be a turd.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
for whatever reason, to me, it's being a turd. That's
That's
saying
what
it
Jimmy lives
lovingly.
his life.
But like, the next time I DM'd, I was just like, you know what? If they want to play that same card, fine. I just, we're just gonna make something happen one way or the other. Somebody wants to go a different direction than the rest of the group. Great. I hope you're ready for whatever you encounter. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm gonna make it very bad.
Something I figured out as the DM very early on was that the players really do make the story. And if I have this whole big elaborate thing planned out, and they decide that the story that they want to go down is who is this side character kobold that somehow speaks common and invents airships, then that's what they want to do. And go ahead and go down that thing that you want to go down, because if that's what makes you happy and enjoy the campaign. Okay, he came from a place where all kobolds speak common and they're all really cool and shit, and you go to their fucking village that they made, and all of a sudden you're fighting a king of kobolds who's like 6 foot tall and 200 pounds.
yeah,
Not everything is kobolds with me, by the way.
sure.
It kind of seems like it is.
Oops, all kobolds.
All right, Kyle,
Cool. Well,
take us home, dude.
this was fun. Hey, guys, next Tuesday we're gonna not be sick, and we're gonna play D&D in person. So,
I'm out of town next week. I forgot to tell you.
Cancel your trip. I don't know what to tell you.
Kyle, I forgot to tell you, I am legitimately out of town next week, as is Jimmy,
Yeah,
as is Liz.
I know.
This is the joke, apparently, is that we're actually all out of town next week. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not. I was literally just trying to fuck with Kyle.
Yeah,
I gave ample notice about this, by the way.
you are dead to me.
All right. Me and Craig on a
okay,
one show.
guys, we'll
See us
see
next
you
week.
2 weeks from now.
Mm.
That's amazing.
Cool.
Ryder and Revel are going to go up on a scouting mission.
Yeah,
I like that. Love it. You guys should do it. Cool.
Wonderful.
Kyle,
Back
take
in
us-
time and like retcon an experience where Revel and I went to like a fancy boat, and I used disguise self to be a high elf, so I fit in with the crowd.
yeah.
Side quest, side quest, side quest. Another dream series. Is that what's I'm here?
No, I think I'm gonna just throw everybody into an arena, and the characters that aren't there, I'm gonna just robot them, and if they die,
If they die, they die.
I mean, at least 2 out of those 3 characters die pretty much every week, so that should be quick.
Here you go.
yeah.
Actually, it'd be pretty cool to see if Kyle could play your characters better than you.
He can. I know he can.
Well, Kyle is not held back by the same angst that we are, so probably.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I'm gonna go drown my sadness in a bath, and I'll see you guys.
Play with Cannon.
What y'all did? Oh my gosh. Well,
Oh yeah, I'm
See you
supposed to.
next week. See you
do
never.
before.
Bye.
Bye.
Late.